That leads us neatly into our Media Watch segment, and I'm joined now by Deeptika Laurent. Good evening to you, Deeptika.
Hi, John.
Let's start, shall we, by that dinner actually attended by Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. What an extraordinary scene.
It was like an endless dinner, wasn't it? The Daily Beast says it should have been a desperate breath from the trash swamp that that America has been drowning in for the last year and a half, and yet Trump ended up getting booed for his below-the-belt barbs. And as you can imagine, there's been a lot of reactions on Twitter. This user says Melania looked like she'd rather be anywhere else in the world except there, and I think that really points to how awkward that night was for everyone. While this user notes that Trump didn't bow his head during that prayer, and can you imagine what his supporters would have said had that been Obama not doing that? And while another user says he just didn't grasp the concept of self-deprecation and instead went with degradation, and he deserved every boo that he got.
Okay, so a pretty unusual dinner, and as you say, the participants there probably feeling like it was a very long dinner indeed. We're going to move now to India because, of course, the border between India and Pakistan, because tensions in Kashmir have caused some friction in Bollywood, a long way away from Kashmir.
That's right. Well, Pakistan, actually, the Pakistani Film Board decided to have a blanket ban on Indian films. In India, they've decided to have a blanket ban on Pakistani content. And now an award-winning filmmaker, an Indian filmmaker called Karan Johar, has been caught in the crossfire, so to speak. He initially said he would not support Pakistani actors in Bollywood as a result of these tensions. This week, he announced that he will not be hiring any more Pakistani actors in the future because of these political tensions. So why the U-turn? Well, it might have something to do with placating his viewers before a new film comes out to coincide with the Indian festival of Diwali next week. A film that actually, incidentally, features a Pakistani actor called Fawad Khan. So a lot of ultra-nationalist groups in India are calling for a boycott on this film. They're saying it shouldn't be released because it features a Pakistani actor. And some groups have even said they'll vandalize cinemas that do show the films.
Okay, so it's getting very tense, and it's even reaching the highest level in the land, political circles.
That's right. Well, the government kind of had to intervene because initially they said, well, they would support a ban on the film for the reasons of security. But now Johar, the filmmaker, met with the Indian Home Minister or Interior Minister on Thursday. And it appears that the government is now willing to do all it can to assure the safe release of the film. But, you know, the ludicrousness of the film, of the situation, hasn't gone unnoticed. This Twitter user says, in aspiring India, mobs and media goons decide, among other things, the fate of films and film producers, which is really does sum it up. And this author he's a writer in a Pakistani publication, says, well, Johar was just a victim of jingoistic and chest-thumping warriors. And the writer even says, at the height of the Cold War, U.S. and Russian filmmakers, cinema, sports people were not prevented from going to each other's countries.
Okay, so a new low, it would appear, in relations between the two neighbours. Back here in France, it happens not just in France, but in other European countries around this time of year, the build-up to Christmas and the row between municipalities and the sorts of decorations they put on. In this case, here in France, a local town hall staging a nativity scene.
That's right. Is the nativity scene compatible with secularism? That's the question being asked in this debate raging in France. And in fact, one of France's highest administrative courts has now intervened, and they say that they will allow some local town halls to stage some nativity scenes within reason, I guess. It basically started because the Association of the Mayors of France has said that these Christian traditions do not respect France's very strict rules on secularism, the separation of church and state. And as you can imagine, it's spawned some pretty sarcastic responses on Twitter. This user says, France is a country with Gallic origins. The Christian invader must be put in his place. This is, of course, a play on words of what Nicolas Sarkozy said, that if you become French, then you have to accept your Gallic origins and nothing else. Another Twitter user, a priest, in fact, says, if you want to see the nativity scene, come to a church. Jesus offers himself to you without expecting political or commercial rewards. And finally, this Twitter user also has another priority. She says, before worrying about the nativity scene, which in French is crèche de Noël, why don't we think about building more crèches for our children, of course referring to the lack of childcare.